Hello and welcome to Lights On by Cinema Express. We have the lead cast of Middle Class Melodies, Anand Deverakonda and Varsha Bollamma. Hi, Anand and Varsha. Welcome to our show.
Thank
Hi,
you.
hi.
So it was a very pleasant experience to actually live in the world of middle class melodies. It was more of an experience, I should say, rather than a movie watching experience. So thank you for giving us that film. And did you expect this kind of a reception, overwhelming reception? I was online during the release of the film. I was watching the social media feed sticking, and it was an overwhelming reception, even for a viewer like me. So did you anticipate such a kind of a reception?
Like we knew the movie was good.
Hmm.
We genuinely liked it when we watched it. But the response we got, like the movie released by 11, I guess, right?
Yes.
And the reviews started coming up to like 3 o'clock in the night because I didn't sleep. I couldn't sleep
Hmm.
because there's continuous reviews coming, and I think 98% of the reviews were positive.
Yeah.
So we were overwhelmed, and it took me like at least 3 to 4 days to like for it to sink that the movie is actually a hit. So yeah.
And Anand.
Yeah, for me, I was actually pretty nervous just like a few hours before release. It hadn't sunk in yet that my movie is coming out and people are going to be, reacting to it. And especially after my first movie didn't do commercially well and it wasn't received so well, I was actually really worried about how they would, perceive this movie. But what gave us the confidence, our whole team, was the reaction to the trailer. The trailer was having more than 1 crore views and lots of positivity around it. Even the music was gaining lots of traction. So we were really confident, and I think it showed in the reviews that kept pouring in. Even till today, we are seeing memes and lots of comments, and everyone is like posting bits of this movie of Varsha and me and Chaitanya, all of us on Instagram and other platforms. So it's nice.
It, even as a movie consumer, it was so heartening to see a non-star film being celebrated as their own. And I don't speak the language, but even then I felt I felt it's a film that I should celebrate. So, and once again, a huge congratulations for the film. And uh, personally, congrats and all the best for your cafe, Good Vibes Cafe. I personally like the title of your cafe. So was it a long time dream, Anand?
It wasn't my dream actually. So if you see
Okay.
my post, it is actually one of my friend's huge dream. He was always a foodie. He would always, whenever we would all catch up, he would be the one making these complex. He would be making mutton dalcha and all that.
So he's a Raghava in your life.
Yeah, he's the Raghava in my life.
Hmm.
So he would be making these complex things, and he left his job just before the pandemic. He wanted to start this cafe in Jan or Feb, and
Okay.
the pandemic hit, and it just shattered his dreams in a way. And then a few of us gathered and sort of helped him, and the dream has we just started it. So let's see how the reaction will be over the weekend. The food there is really great, so I think for me personally, what came so close, what touches my heart is Vijay sort of got launched in a big belly chupulu around
Yeah.
truck, and me with a tiffin center, Raghava tiffin center. And if we can do something around food in our real life also, it's great, right?
I remember a friend of mine calling me, a colleague of mine calling me. I got the film a bit late, 2 hours late or something. He called me and he woke me up and said, like, this is the Pelichuplu of Anand Deverakonda and you have to watch this film. So, so
Thank you, man.
that's how we related to the film initially. And Varsha, like, uh, I, I guess it's safe to say you're becoming a OTT star right now. You are having a release every week. So last week it was in Telugu, and now it's a bilingual Money Number 13, and it's also getting released in Tamil. So did you plan this? Like, was it a planned decision? Okay, like I'm going to do this, and this is going to take me to this point. Because when you are launched, when you came into the public space, you are known as Nazdia's lookalike. Then it became something else. Then became the Bigil girl in Tamil and Telugu. Now it's something else. You are known for your performances. So the constant redefinition of your image, was it planned or was it was it something that came your way?
I think these things cannot be planned. Like, it just happened. And the movie, like the back-to-back release, was complete coincidence, because this movie I shot 3 years ago. The Kannada movie that released recently. So for it to release with my Telugu movie that I shot for less than a year ago, I think it's pure coincidence. I don't know how it happened, but it was definitely not planned.
So even though you are both Anand and Varsha are known across the South Indian states, do you think having a biggest release on OTT might limit your opportunities in theatrical releases?
So I'll tell you that we actually set out planning this movie thinking of it being a theatrical release.
True.
But circumstances changed, and everyone, right, not just India, the whole world is in this situation. And it's great that digital is there as a great platform already, that many people were consuming since almost like 5-6 years now. And now you see the real boom happening. And what happened was when Amazon acquired it, we were really, really happy, because we knew that this movie would get the reach that it really deserves during these times. In terms of, say, for like Tamil Nadu viewers like yourself, you probably got a virtual link, but other viewers from Chennai and all other cities in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, in fact, the whole of the country is able to watch this movie only because of Prime Video. If we got a theatrical release right now, we would have seen a boom only in the Telugu states, and would have remade it in other languages or something. So that's a completely different equation. Now we are getting messages from all over, right? Not just Telugu state, Telugu people. So it's really nice that way. But the downside is, I don't know how much budget can go into my next movie. I have no idea. So that's the only downside in terms of...
I guess that's a universal problem right now. I guess, everybody in the industry is confused, both the consumers and the makers. They're just figuring out things.
It's just an ecosystem problem right now. I think all the leaders from different parts of the ecosystem, the theater business, the digital business, producers, distributors, everyone has to sit down and figure out what to do and how to do all of this. So it's not in our hands, but we are really happy with Prime doing this for us.
Okay, so I would like to ask again to both of you, like how middle class was your upbringing? So, like, were you the rich kids in your class, or did you have the pretty much middle class upbringing during your childhood?
No, I wasn't this rich kid who would get imported chocolates to school and make friends. No, I wasn't that kid. I always had a middle class upbringing, and I think that has helped me in a way. I always say, being in a middle class, you learn a lot. You are stronger mentally. I think you. I don't know. I'm not generalizing, but this is what I feel. It makes you stronger in a lot of ways. You look at situation in a different way. So I feel it's good. It was good that I had a middle class upbringing. And
same here. I wasn't by any means anywhere near the rich. I studied in a boarding school, and most of our schooling was actually free. Because of the kind of school that it was. We were only paying for the boarding part of it. So it helped my parents, the weight on their shoulders was a lot lesser. And then I think middle class in general, I don't even know how to put it into words. I don't know. It's kind of like a happy, sad space. I don't know how to put it, because you're really content with what you have sometimes. But then there are other days when you're trying to make some money and you're trying to pay rent and you're borrowing money, or you want to break out of the class and buy something else that makes you, look a little richer compared to, your neighbors or your relatives. So there's lots of dynamics within this class. And I think we address some of it within our movie in terms of, there's this aspect of the chit business that is in the movie. There's this aspect of being aspirational and starting your own business, breaking out of a certain kind of saturation within your own life. Then there's this love and this emotional angle, your mother and father battling it out and trying to, support you in a way, but it's the father having sort of a love-hate relationship with the son.
Yeah.
Then the ladies in Raghava's life is they're constantly trying to support him. So all of this is there in everyone's life, and that's beautiful part of our movie.
The one thing I was happy, the first thing I was happy about Middle Class Melodies when it was announced was it had a very young cast. So, and especially when I saw the school portions, it didn't feel out of the part for me. Like you were looking the part, like both you and Varsha. So being a young member of the industry, I see it as a huge opportunity out there. I believe there aren't many stars even in the South Indian space to cater to that kind of space. On the flip side, audience might find it hard to see you in the larger than life entertainers, like the proper masala entertainers, where you got to do things larger than your image. So how do you see it? How do you both see it?
I'm just trying to go with the flow. I haven't given it the thought, and now that you're asking me all these questions, I'm like just thinking. But no, I'm happy where I am, and the kind of movies I'm choosing right now, they're not larger than life, but there's something I'll be proud of, when I watch it on screen. So I think for me, that's what matters in the end. I should be proud of the cinema that I'm doing. So I'm content that way.
Like, for me, from my end, Naveen, like you said, there's this huge gap, right, in terms of this kind of cinema being made. Lots of directors do want to tell these stories, but not enough actors are there who can be part of these stories. So it's nice to be in that alternate space or the gap that there is. And in terms of doing the larger than life kind of stories, I think there are lots of stars already in the industry. You consider Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, all of these industries have lots of actors filling that space. So I think the right balancing act would be to tell more these kind of stories, and all audiences will be happy, right?
True.
So it's nice that way.
And in a previous interview of yours, I remember you saying that if you're doing stories very similar to Vijay's films, like if you're doing an urban love film with the usual rom-com elements, there will be direct comparisons. I don't want to give them content to compare. Like let me carve my own path, and so that there aren't any direct comparisons. So thinking about that, that's a great thing great idea to have. But on the flip side, do you think it's limiting your opportunities in some way?
No, in fact, I'm seeing more and more directors come to me with new kinds of stories. There's this travel story that I listen to. There are some thriller kind of stories that I'm listening to. There is that romantic comedy angle also, but something that Vijay hasn't done. So there are tons and thousands of stories to tell, but which are still, grounded in realism. There is still that natural, authentic way that. Yeah, even Vijay did such kind of cinema earlier in his career, like Yavadeswari Kanyam. If you see Palle Chupulu, Arjun Reddy was also very real.
Very, very new when it came out. Yeah.
Would you do a rural Arjun Reddy?
I wouldn't do anything like Arjun Reddy because the comparisons will just be blown out of proportion.
I guess you've seen different iterations of Arjun Reddy already. Like we've seen it thrice over here. Yeah,
and we have seen other movies being inspired by Arjun Reddy. True. And some character inspiration also done. So I think that has been everything has been taken out of Arjun Reddy's soul already. So we shouldn't go anywhere near that. But there's this whole, like I said, this alternate space to consider. There are lots of directors in Telugu also trying to do this kind of cinema. Yeah.
So yeah, there was also a fun section of people commenting that Vijay has dubbed for you, like your voices sound identical, and I guess you explained that question earlier in the previous interactions. But so does it constantly run in your mind? Okay, I shouldn't resemble my brother. I shouldn't, my voice or my actions, be it anything, it shouldn't resemble my brother. Is it constantly running over your mind, or okay, let me go with the flow, or how do you approach it?
It doesn't. If something comes innately, then it's of course me, and it's not my brother, right? Especially when it comes to my voice quality, it might sound a little similar to Vijay's, but once you get to know me better, and that can happen only over the course of a few movies, like 5 or 6 movies. People will, can understand my voice quality and the kind of diction that I can get. But right now, it's only the two of us who speak like this, right? We have this kind of baritone, and we speak in this Hyderabadi, Telangana kind of language. Even our English, we went to the same boarding school. So it's only, it's only natural that we speak the same language. So I can see why people give these comparisons. But for me, a win in the movie like Middle Class Melodies would be, once the 15-minute mark in the movie is over, I think they should switch off from those comparisons and just watch the character. And I think in this movie, I think I was able to do that after the 15-20-minute mark. Until then, maybe 5-6 movies later, even the 10 to 15 minutes won't matter.
So Varsha, like talking about like diction and languages, so like what's your thinking language? How many languages do you know? We say, I see you doing all kind of South City language films. What's your thinking language?
Like these are the languages I can speak clearly. I mean, Telugu, I'm still learning, but I can manage. I can understand completely and manage. So Telugu, Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, Hindi.
Yeah. So coming back to the first question, what language do you think?
Thinking happens. Thinking happens in my mother tongue. That's Kurg.
Okay.
But usually before shoot, I'm so thorough with the dialogues that, there's not much of thinking space. I just like, the dialogues come very, very naturally to me. So I make sure that I'm thorough with all my dialogues. So I switch off from everything else and just concentrate on that dialogue. So able to understand the language helps a lot.
Okay, so 2019, like I happened to see a couple of films which aren't in this league of yours. A couple of Tamil films, like while you're shooting those kind of films, I don't want to mention the names. So like it would have been something would have been narrated to you, and while shooting, it might be something different. What kept you going, and the space you have reached now wouldn't have been an instant future in your mind when you did those films. So how did you push yourself, and what kept you going?
So as you said, when somebody narrates your story, it's completely different. When you see it on paper, it's different, and it's always a gamble when you're working with new directors, or it's always a gamble. You don't know their work, and being a heroine, being an actress, you don't get that. It's not that easy. You can't ask them to give us a proper complete narration. You don't have that choice. So you have to, it's like a gamble. You just have to trust. You just have to believe that this is going to be the film, right? So once the shoot starts, and once you see that this is how it's going to be, that is when you realize. So I think that way I've started to understand script a little better now, and I would like consciously try to choose things that I think will definitely work with the audience. Now that I know what kind of roles my audience would like to see me in. So I think I know certain things better. But it's still, in the end, it's still a gamble, because actresses don't have that choice, it's changing. And now I do get like the entire narration and stuff, but it wasn't the same before. So it's just the love for cinema that I had, the love I had from my childhood, that kept me going, because I knew that I had it in me. So I just think the love for cinema.
Great. So, and Anand, so I see you as an like I neither I don't see you as a star kid, and I don't see you as a complete outsider. Like I see you someone who has a window of cinema. Like you know what you are signing up for, since your father was a director and brother was evolving into something else over the years. Like what kind of observation did you have about cinema?
So I kind of have a unique perspective because Vijay is considered an outsider, and I'm considered as an insider now in terms of how I came into the industry. But I don't see myself getting the benefits of an insider because my brother himself doesn't get it. So I don't see how I will get it. In terms of benefits, by benefits I mean, even if I have like a hit movie like this, I don't think I'll be getting like the big producers coming to me immediately and saying, we're getting this big director for you. Let's, start a double figure budget movie. I don't think it'll happen early stages of my career. It'll only happen if I can deliver a movie like, say, a Taxiwala or a Arjun did, right? Until then, it'll be, limited. I'll have to still prove myself with the 3, 4 crore, 5 crore movies in terms of budget. So that will only happen with new directors, newer producers,
and focusing more on the artistical aspect of a film. For example, if a newcomer is coming, he would have even though he's a very good theater actor, or if he's good with acting in front of a camera is different.
Yeah.
Getting a chance to read a full bound script is different. Being on spot, being on a decent budgeted film, everything is entirely new for a newcomer. They would have maybe they would have had some knowledge about it, but it might have been only a theoretical knowledge. But I believe it would have been a marginally better for you.
Yeah. So, I already have insight into the whole process. Yeah, the whole process of how Vijay worked, or what goes into building a character, what goes into being in front of the camera, and how different it is. So both me and Vijay did some theater. So this was in the early parts of this decade, so 2010 to 2012. And we would, in theater, it is naturally, it's natural for you to, play to the galleries. So you have to reach the last audience as well, in terms of your voice, in terms of your hand movement, everything, right? When it comes to the kind of cinema that we are doing, at least what Vijay did with Pelli Chupalu and all the natural, Yavade Subramaniam, the real characters that Arjun Reddy, all of these, he was bringing naturality. So something that you would see in your real life, and something that can be very, so the camera sees everything, like the emotions within you, the action, everything, right? So he was able to bring that. And since like maybe 2014 onwards, all of these real natural directors were coming in to tell these kind of stories, right? Like Pelli Chupalu, Middle Class Melodies, Broche Varevera. So there are these bunch of young guys, bunch of young actors who are able to do this natural, not the, playing to the galleries, even in the movies. The star movies are playing even in front of the camera, they're playing to the galleries, right? That is changing a lot now. It's more natural, more grounded. Yeah.
So pulling off comedies is a different kind of an experiment. It needs a different kind of a talent. Be it the interval block where you run away from your father, or Varsha, if the scene where you recharge. Yeah. So that's being like, I believe that both the scenes are being repeatedly watched on OTTs, and I see a lot of people particularly mentioning about both these scenes. So how did you tune yourself to doing a comedy like this? It wasn't over the board. It's the kind of comedy we see in reality. So how did you tune yourself?
Nobody's ever let me do comedy in movies. Maybe because of the way I look. They think like, I don't know why. But nobody's ever thought that I could pull something that funny. But as a person, I'm that way. No, Anand?
Yes,
I make the best jokes.
Really funny. Yeah.
You sound so serious about it. Like, yeah, yes, she's funny.
He's threatening me.
Okay.
It's true. Ask him. Tell him. No. So
Okay.
I think when they let me, like Vinod told me the sequence, and I found it really funny. So I enjoyed doing it. You know, during the shoot, I really had fun. And the thing is, we had limited time because there was some festival happening on that road, and we had like 15 minute stops. So we had time constraint, but still the scene had to come out well because it was that, you know, interval block. So the whole situation was so funny, and when we started shooting, it was even more funny because of the shopkeeper. He was actually, you know, really got annoyed looking at him. So it was very natural. Whatever came out was natural, and it was supposed to be just like a 30-second shot. When he starts saying the number very slowly, the director was planning on cutting it. But then looking at the reaction, he kept it rolling, and it was actually, the footage might be like a 5-minute long footage where I end up like crying and all. So it came out very naturally.
And Anand, like it was very relatable to see you. Like we don't see actors looking like that, wearing a vest like that, and being simple, like just like the way we are at home. So doing that sort of a comedy. So how was it to you?
I think it's all in the writing, Naveen. In terms of it was really written like that. So when my father is, rubbing the toothpaste with a stone, and then the person next to him is reading the newspaper and simultaneously reacting, it's so beautifully written that it's easier to perform. But coming to what you've been saying, comedy is really it's harder to perform than any other genre. But here, what is funny is the situations. It's the situations. It's the little reactions. And when you have brilliant actors around you, it's just easier to react. Especially my father and Chaitanya, who I have more scenes with. They're such brilliant actors that it's so easy to react to them. And with Varsha, we have more like the emotional, like little bits that we have. So it was fun acting with all these like brilliant actors. Yeah.
Okay. So I've been talking about multilinguals a lot to Varsha. So coming back to you, so when can we expect you to do another language film apart from Telugu?
I don't speak any other language. So that's the big issue. I have to sit down like Vijay and learn Tamil like he did for Nota. But let's see if I'm able to. She is the linguist here. She speaks Kannada, Kurgi.
Anand, do a Bhojpuri movie, yeah.
Bhojpuri. But
so if another South Indian language director or any other language director is approaching you with a really good script and you see a lot of potential in it, would you be game for it?
I would definitely be game for it, but as long as I'm able to, learn the language, do justice to the dialogues that character is saying, I can only listen to my character speak only with my voice. If someone else speaks it, it's really off for me. So I need to be able to dub for my own self. And only if I'm able to, speak the language can I act also, right? So I'll have to learn the language. I'll be completely game for it. Yes.
So, Anand, be it your first film, and compared to I feel you're more at ease with the way you face camera. And Varsha, I believe it's your best performance. If I'm not undermining the rest of the performance, but I see it as your best performance till now. So, what is the way to bring the best out of you? Like, if I'm going to be directed this way, or if I'm going to if I'm going to be approached this way, they give me a script 2 days ahead, I'll practice it. If I have a rehearsal session, I'll do it better. So what is the way to get the best out of both of you?
I think for me, dialogues, I need to know my dialogues in and out. I need to, I need to be very comfortable with my dialogue. So I usually get the script 1 month prior, and I just mug it all up. So that is one thing. And I think the people on set, the director, way you feel on set, the comfort zone on set that matters to me. If the director's given me freedom, I think that's like, if the director trusts in me, I don't know, it just gives me that boost. So,
And Anand.
For me, I don't know. What happens with me is I definitely sit with the director. I need to understand the character. For me, I have this tendency to underperform a bit. So there's this, my innate self will come out in the character some places where, because I'm a little
the
reserved,
lazy self.
the introverted fellow will come out. But it takes maybe a few days for me, like workshops, working with the director to figure out what kind of character he wants and all of those things. And then, like Varsha said, knowing all the dialogue, knowing the script in and out, that will help a lot. And for me, what happens is on set, it takes at least 2-3 days to ease in to that character. So the first 2-3 days are always off. If I have the budget, I will always want to go back and shoot all those first 2-3 days again. But I don't have those budgets. But it'll be nice, like once you start having a kind of situation with the director, knowing when he's not completely satisfied, knowing when he's completely satisfied, all of those things help a lot. Just seeing the monitor and seeing the character is more important. So the first 3 days, I don't completely see the character. And once you get into the flow of things, you start seeing the real character. So, yeah.
Great. So it was a complete pleasure talking to both of you. All the best for your upcoming projects. And once again, congrats for Middle Class Melodies.
Thank you.